great. Don't even have a battery for you. Fantastic. Bugger. Oh well. Hello, people from the internet. Okay. I do not have what I hoped I had. I was hoping I would have a battery in this so I could compare something, but I don't, so I can't. That's okay. I will do a thermal comparison test. That was the board we were working on last night. And the current consumption has dropped down a bit, but that, what was it, the Thunderbolt still lights up pretty bright. So anyway, this is one that I acquired some time ago, and I'm just going to see if it does the same thing with that whole... Yeah, come on, look down on it. Yeah, so this one doesn't get hot. Oh wait, yes it does. I just realised I've got the void view on. You're not the right mouse. Let's see, void view. That did get warm for a second and now it's stopped. Meh. That's a problem. Hey Jim. Steve, Abraham, how's it going? Mark, Ainsley. See what else have I missed? Pedro's here too. Oh, so many people. Alright. This one really does actually have a very different behavior. It did get hot there at the start, and now it's just shut itself down, has it? Yeah, it just shut itself down. Decided it didn't want to play part of this game. Let's try again. Yeah, that's interesting. The Thunderbolt does start getting warm, but then it backs off. Well, that's going to be entertaining. SSD is getting warm. That's going to be a pain because basically I've done all the work on that board, and because of whatever the heck's going on in the Thunderbolt, I may not be able to collect. I mean, the machine works, but it definitely has a... Oh, what was the current consumption on that? Damn it. Honestly, I forget the things that... I just want to see what the current consumption is of this board. Compare it to the one we had before. Thermal camera's not going to be much chop. Okay, so we've got 1.51. Mind you, I am using the display at this point. Hey Travis, my Master Blaster. Just notice my infrared is slightly off skew. It varies depending on the viewing distance that it's set, so it's not that the program doesn't work, it's just that as you change the depth of field... What the heck? Alright, this is an old customer one, so... So let's say 1 amp. 1 amp when its screen is up and it's just idling. When it's down. $500, $600. I was able to get the other one to idle back down to about 80 million, about 1 watt of power. Just trying to see if this will idle back down. Ever had reason to replace the Thunderbolt connector? Not until now. Hey Sinclair, research rather, a you user, Andrew. Yeah, so this is about where the other board idles as well, around about 1 watt. So this one's jumping around a heck of a lot more, but at least the figure is about right. So that's my reference board. One day I'll actually finish that up so that I can put it to use, because it is a very nice 1398. It's a case of just having a few too many of these machines around at times. Okay. Bong. Yeah, straight away that Thunderbolt cooks up. That's very annoying. Judging by the fact that there is corrosion in there, I'd say that's probably, there's a fault in the actual connector. Our options, basically, we could try to disable the ports. I just don't know how successful that's going to go. Ah, crud, I just minimized the wrong window. Oh, interesting, that's gone away now. Or has it? Is that my fingerprint? Oh, it's gone away because it turned off. Let's open it back up and get it to wake up. Someone needs to improve their desk. Okay, you can see it's not getting hot anymore. And this is it running, so that's the PCH, is it? Yeah. And this here was getting a little bit warm because it was, that's the SSD under there. You can actually see where I leave my fingerprints sometimes. Yeah. Well, that's more normal. Okay, maybe it's cleared itself out. What I do find problematic on this still is that the battery, it's not charging up properly. But I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if it's the battery at fault or whether it's the board. I have a strong suspicion it's the battery because of the fact that there was water damage all through this. So, unfortunately, yeah, I just don't have this specific battery on hand, and that's why I was hoping that the one I had up just before would in fact have a battery in it, but it looks like I removed it. I have no idea for what point or purpose, but I did. I'm sure I had a justification. Alright, so that one's out of the way. Just get on to the next machine. Trying to kind of burned away a bunch of time on that one. Okay, what have we got here? Oh, 1534. Oh, this is going to be fun. Who doesn't like a 1534? So I'll turn off the infrared camera. Glasses into the bin. I need to come up with a better mount for that infrared camera, something that sort of hovers over the desk. It's a job for another day. Let me catch up on chat. Sorry, everybody. A Flatlander? No bandits on it. Oh, it just wasn't set up for the infrared camera scene. There we go. I mean, it's not so much that I hate the 1534, rather just the fact that it's unfortunate that it pretty much every single one is unfortunately doomed to fail due to CPU failure one way or another. I'd be much happier if it didn't do that. But it's a bit of a risk as a repair store, because even if it comes in with a fault and you can fix that fault, chances are in a few weeks it's going to be back on your doorstep, and then you're going to be into trouble by the fact that it's broken, but it's not actually your fault. It's just that CPU died. It wasn't dead before. It's kind of like the modern 2915, except we can't bypass the CPU. Okay, switch back over to overhead. Oh, that's a little bright. Yeah, it's tolerable, I guess. How did that power supply job finish? Firephone. Oh, when I finally replaced the last of those two capacitors that it worked. It was just frustrating that I replaced every single other capacitor except for two, and the fault was in one of those two. Hey Alexi, good news. Fixed my first 1708. Oh, nice, and you did it with the FlexBoard view. The 1708s I actually do quite like. Damaras, yes, this is the 4 amp one. The 1708s, I think people get thrown off them initially because they are a 17 series. And, you know, when people hear the numbers 17 when it comes to MacBooks, they almost immediately start running away. And hey, who can blame them? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh no. Ah. Time to shave my head, I think. Oh, nope. This is trucked. This is completely and utterly trucked. Wow. This isn't even going to make it to CPU life, I don't think. We'll have a look. You guys can have a... Damn you, camera, you dead again. Why? I need my light on. Come on, camera. Come on up. There we go. I wouldn't say it's 85% battery, but it's certainly maybe I overstated it. But it's certainly had enough liquid damage down the bottom there. Gross in the battery, and some jobs you just look at and you think to yourself, no. I think I'll pass on this one. I think what I'll do is I'll ask them if they just want data off it, because that's pretty much all I'm going to do. Rework it for data, nothing much else. Let's pull that CPU off and have a look. Like I said, because these have a predisposition of dying from the CPU failure, you really don't want to invest much time in them. So when they come in, you may as well just say, look, we'll get the data off. There's not much point in doing anything else. Because even if we get it running now, in 2 weeks' time, it's probably going to have a CPU death. And we don't want you hating us and blaming us for what is actually nothing to do with us. I'm kind of curious as to what actually got in there. It's a very unusual location. Now, how did liquid get in there? Okay, I think it came in through the back here. Rescue, yes I did actually. Sorry, thank you. I meant to mention it. I was looking for you yesterday, I think. But yes, I did. It has arrived. Mr. Sinister, how difficult is it for a non-programmer to set up an automatic test with a DMM meter for automatic evaluation? For example, a 10 points resistant diode test. It's technically it's not a big issue. It's more a case of going through the process of setting up your data that you can compare against and working out how you're going to step through it and things like that. It's actually something I'm doing with Flex Boardview and open board data. It just takes time to get all these things together. I do get a fair few people sort of saying to me, you know, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? And it's like, I am working on these things, but you have to realize that once a software package gets to a certain point, adding features to it is actually something you have to do really slowly, and for every new feature you add, it means the next feature is going to take that bit longer again to actually do. It's just the way it goes with software development. You're sort of forever trying to... It's kind of like having a big pile up of jello, and every new feature is a little bit more jello on top. And you're trying to hope that your little jello castle or jello tower doesn't come crashing down on you. And so to do that, you have to spend a lot of time sticking stabilizing sticks into it. Yeah, that looks like trouble too. And it's a bit slower as a one-man army. I mean, I automate a lot of the stuff, but it still takes a long time. The other thing that takes a long time is that when you're skipping between multiple projects, you have to come up to speed with your code every time you come back around to add a new feature. Now, it sounds silly, you think, you know, how can you forget your own code? But you really do. You know, after a couple of weeks, you basically have to reacquaint yourself with how you do things. Documentation does help, but ultimately, once you get going with something, you sort of don't want to stop. Once you've revitalized your mind as to what you're doing, you just keep rolling until you're done with the feature, and then you put it aside, and you don't disturb the code again for another couple of months. Let's try one of these one of these nozzles. Not a big fan of these 45-degree type nozzles. They mess up the airflow so much. I need to just buy a pipe bender and make my own curved nozzles. Proper curved nozzles, not these oblique ones. You're going to be difficult about this quick, are you? It's all off. Hey Pedro, no, comments don't help. Okay, that's not true. They do help a bit, but not really enough. If you write enough comments to help, you basically end up writing an epic novel. Okay, for these boards I generally don't bother with anything more than iPhone type level of heat. That's pretty much it, Christian. Now, if you look at the code that's used for open board view, geez, that completely messed me up then. Yeah, if you look at the code for open board view, I can't remember, I think it's about 30 or 40,000 lines of code now. Actually, maybe that's a bit extravagant, maybe it's not that much. Anyway, it's a fair bit. Flex board view is around about triple the size these days. Oh, I hate it when I melt that off. Let's keep that sticker for later. Dreamcat, I don't think she had the actual curved one. I mean, I've got these 45-degree angle ones, like this sort of thing. And that's what I seem to remember them selling. But they're not really hook nose kind of things. Yeah, Bernoulli would be rolling in his grave because of the turbulent airflow caused by the improperly bent nozzles. Yeah, I've never seen a curved one. The only way you're going to, like I said, the only way you're going to get a curved one is to get a straight one, fill it with sand or flour or something like that, and then put it in a pipe bender. And then you'll have a curved nozzle, whatever angle you want, that actually flows properly. I mean, obviously people do use these perfectly fine, but I fight with them. Lewis, fortunately you don't really end up needing them to be... Oh wow, there's a part there? Was there a part there? Jeez, there was a part there and it's gone. You don't need them to be that small. In fact, you don't want them to be that small, because when they're that small, it's nearly impossible to get the level of thermal energy into the board that you need. So you spend forever just concentrating this hot flame, as it were, hot air flame on the poor little part, and it just gives up. What you're really trying to do is heat up the board around it enough to do the job. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, there's pads down there. Just. God damn. And we're burning our paper. Because we actually shouldn't... Oop, that almost caught on fire. There's another little part that's just come off from God knows where. At this stage I'm simply just flux and boiling. Try and reduce the amount of crap. See if I get anything out of it afterwards. What troubles me about that part that fell off is that it's a resistor and not a cap, which means it may be important. Not to say that caps aren't important, but usually a lot of these little caps, they're just noise filters, decouplers, stability improvers, things like that. But when you get a resistor involved, it's often a pull-up or a connector between two networks, things like that. So resistor typically has a more critical function in terms of design. Usually. Man, this thing's been stewing in its own filth for a while. The MOSFETs. The MOSFETs. I don't really want to get the CPU too messed up. You can't... Damn it. You can't just put paste back on these things. Thermal paste, that is. You have to stick with whatever they've given you there. Screw the heatsink back on. Well, I've got the board view and the schematic, and I probably do have one sitting around in the boxes somewhere. I haven't even checked to see what board number this is yet. Ah, damn it. There's a kind of like a rubber gasket that goes around this board on the edge, and you can sort of see it looks like it's got flux on it. But the rubber gasket seems to have some kind of very slippery, oily substance, and it gets on your gloves and everything. It makes it very hard to hold on to some things. It's almost like it's a Teflon or something. It feels Teflon-ish. It won't be, but it just feels that way. Hey, Depom. Yeah, Pernov. Quite right you are, sir. I just don't know which one it is yet. Ah, Jim, it's okay. We know you're there. You're good. Enjoy your half awake, half asleep state. It's pretty late. I should have started about an hour and a half ago, but there were things happening. Oh, by the way, Pernov, I got the full high-resolution copy of that video I was after. I've worked out how to turn off all the damn comments flying across the screen. My Chinese actually came in use for a change. Hey, Catherine. Not much left on that cap. I don't know which board this is exactly yet. I haven't looked. Half the time I never even know where to find it on these ones anymore. Hey Max. Hey, oop. Now these MOSFETs are not going to like the fact that they've got that junk on them. Yeah, Pernova, I saw that background image thingamajig. You know I'm going to have to implement that now. There's going to be people messaging me saying, why doesn't Flex Boardview have this? And I'm going to have to begrudgingly add it as a feature. I mean, I do like it. I do like the feature. And it was in the pipeline. But now you've kind of forced me to have to push that pipeline. Hey, Robert. Robin, rather. And Robert. You are one tiny little piece. Let's try a 244. Yeah, this is the one we're looking for, R1540. PCIe wake. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of useful. We might need that. What size is it? 10K? You're gonna be a 01, yep. This looks like it's a 00244, so I'm gonna update that. 0.5. Board should be under the battery sticker near the battery screw. Oh, right under here, right. Nice place to hide it, eh? Everything I've got's just too thick. Hopefully the thumb doesn't get a slice. Yep, 244. Okay, so we'll put that teeny tiny resistor back on, and hopefully we might get some activity. We'll kind of have to bring it back to life there. This is an 0105 part, so it's extremely small. These really are more like iPhones than they are MacBooks. Oh, Robert Hamilton. Probably a bit of both for the cursing and the thanking, maybe. I mean, yeah, if you fix one machine, then you've already made an improvement on everything. Yeah, that's an inappropriate amount of solder. That, on the other hand, might just work. So I'm after 10k. Well, I do have stock of 0105s. I see that I'm going to have to put a character filter on things now. So 201, 0201. Don't know why my fume extractors feels noisier tonight. 47, 47, 15. Come on, surely I've got 10k. I've got a bunch of other values like 2k2, 1, no, not 1k, 0. 10k 201s. I do not have 10k. Well, that's disappointing. I actually could probably drop a 201 on there, but I'm not going to. Does YouTube pay more for a video? More if you like a video? No, it's YouTube doesn't give two squats. I'm gonna have to steal one of these from maybe a donor board. Yep. You're not going to believe it, Pernov. I've actually got a probably one of those rare ones you're talking about. Because this is definitely different to the 244. Oh, it's a 00045. Okay. Yet another different one. Might just write that on there. Robert, they are different. I mean, you might get some functionality, but they are different. Premium gives creators about a 6 times boost to dollars. Really? Okay. That's different to me. I'm just going to turn that off for the moment. That's droning a little bit much. Yeah, it's Claudini. Funnily enough, I actually prefer them as the dark black, the black colour over the other ones. To me, the blues, greens, and reds look just bling and cheap. Okay. Alright, well, I've got to find some replacement parts here. So, what are we looking for? 10K 01005. Search. Find a part. I'm going to actually go searching in the iPhone section. iPhones. Because we'll definitely have an iPhone one that'll have it. 10K 1. That'll do. Okay, we'll stop the search. iPhone 6. That'll do it. No shortage of them on iPhone 6. Why does my board view look like crap? Ah, wrong one. Much better. It's funny that 10K that I was looking at, that's a no stuff. But there will be plenty of other 10K units on there, so all we have to do is just 10K. That one's still a no stuff. What about you? 0404. You buy the PMIC. That's an easy pick. Ah. If there's one thing I do have plenty of, it's iPhone 6 boards. I've got more of them than I have pretty much everything else. Let's get the orientation right. So I've got 2 cap resistor and then next to the big quad one. So it's this little one here. It's about a Google of flux. And for this I definitely need to use these tweezers. Like I said, I don't really care about damaging the iPhone, it's in the trash bin. Probably not the easiest spot to get it in terms of thermals. Yeah. And then you wonder if you still got it when you go to put it back down. And I do. Huh, I'm shocked. I just realised. Alright, let's try that again. It's actually behaving rather strange and it's bleeding. I was actually very reluctant to... It hasn't even soldered properly on the board yet. Alright, that's better. Come on. Hey, Studio 54, yep. Busy enough to keep me going for the weekend, that's for sure. Pardon me. Oh great, someone bent that bit of metal. Itch. I will not be connecting the keyboard up for this purpose, for this task rather. Just a bit of power and now that's it. Just see if we get anything coming up. Suppose I should have some level of privacy filter on there. How about that? Let's plug in our USB-C. Get a current meter onto it. 5 volts, 20 volts, half amp, we're booting. Usually takes about 15-20 seconds before these come up. Usually. This one will probably take a bit longer because it wants to be difficult. $330, $400. It's getting a little on the low side there. $200, $400. Seems to be jumping around. What's going on? Seems to be boot looping. It's not coming up out of the boot. So it's trying to fire up, but then it shuts back down. Probably one of the signal lines or something isn't right. No great surprise there. There's some Australian. Whereabouts in Australia are you? As for multimeter, there's the It's on my web page. The ones the ones that I've tried and found to be okay. Depends also what you want to spend, but basically you'll be spending around about $100 to get a meter that's not the worst. Okay. So we're getting 20. It's trying to boot. It's just not making it. Could be a few reasons for that. And not all of them may be obvious to me. There was the corrosion damage under here. Under that second glass chip. The one on the right. Thanks, Mark. Hey, Winfield. So 1, 2, the third one's missing, so U82. Sus switch. Ed, what? Sorry, Ed, just asking again. You know I can't watch the channel non-stop while I'm working, so give it another shot. Believe me, if I'm not answering questions, it's not because I'm ignoring people, it's just because I'm in the middle of doing this stuff. This is what I hate about these nozzles. I've got this on a temperature that should normally lift this stuff, but that is not going anywhere. I have to ramp it up a bit. Come on, this is a joke. Well, that looks like the joke's on me. Yeah, that looks actually pretty clean. Clean enough that I should be able to just put them back down. Yeah, that part's okay. Actually, I'll have a closer look at those balls, just in case. Oh crap. That part is in the dark forest of my toothbrush. Oh no, it isn't. I really thought then it had gone into the toothbrush. Hey, Microfix. So there is junk there, but it's not bad. And I don't think it was influencing, especially considering these two here, they're all tied together where this junk is. So it's not like it was crossing streams or anything like that. I will check the resistance between that cap though. Yeah, fast continuity and sensitive mode is one of the key features you really do need. They're fine. If you got slow continuity mode, you may as well have no continuity mode. It's pretty much useless if it's slow. And make sure you get a meter that does not need you to swap the leads around every time you want to switch between things like continuity mode and voltage readings, things like that. I know it sounds silly, but believe me, there are meters out there that do it, that you have to swap the leads around, and that's no fun at all. I'll be curious to see. I'm going to be very interested to see how the new one I'm getting performs. Well, that took its time to sit down. Jeez, Pedro, you're being slack with that meter. What's taking you so long? You got other things to do in life? I have a bad feeling about these MOSFETs. Yeah, they're fuses. You guys are good. You're a filter. Flatlander, with regards to 4-wire testing Kelvin type meters, theoretically yes, you can find the short very quickly, but the trouble is that the 4-wire assembly itself is quite cumbersome still. I've got some ideas how to make some very fine needle nose type Kelvin test leads, but most Kelvin test leads that you get are quite cumbersome and difficult to use on this sort of size. But yes, Kelvin connection testing is definitely it's a good way of finding shorts, and to know whether you're heading towards or away from a short. But at the end of the day, I think by the time you rig everything up and you mess around, you probably find that It's just easier to do it using the existing methods. Yeah, hotspots are quicker if you're looking for that sort of thing. I'm not really sure what to think about this one. I think I might put it on the back burner simply because I want to know whether the person really wants a functioning machine, because I'm not overly confident of that, or whether they're content with just data. If they're content with data, then I can work with it. Oh, for sure, Flatliner, yeah. There's that argument. But most times I've found that, yeah, I mean, I've got a low ohms meter with 4-wire Kelvin leads on it. I never bring that thing out. I'm just going to see if anything's changed. Yeah, we're not booting at all. We got 20 volts, but we're stuck at 180, 100 milliamp. That could just be the CPU. Hey Boris HB. Let's give the CPU some TLC. Let's switch out that undesirable nozzle. 4-wire is useful if you're doing things like you've got motor windings and you want to see if there's a sufficient difference between your phases. That's where 4-wire really is quite useful. Or if you're looking for a break, in a length of wire, seeing if one of them's got a break. 4-wire is useful there. What was your profession prior to microsoldering? Electronics design and manufacturing, software developer, general IT person, model aircraft designer. Take your pick. Poly welder at one point, only for a few days. Oh shit, I just realised that's the wrong temperature. Oops. Good thing it's got the heatsink. This is 250 Celsius. I'm just going to hold it here for a minute. Supermodel, no, I never did that. Okay, it's super cool. Really, it's a case of if there's a job at hand and I've got to do something, then you just do it. So I even build fences and repair houses, mostly this one. It kind of helps that I have a father who's a carpenter by trade and then civil engineer doing mining sites. So there's a fairly, I got exposed to a lot of different things. Fixing motorbikes, that's another thing. Okay, we're not going to have any. Let's just see if we even get a proper current now. Oh god, the nightmares of the pigtails. I remember that. No, we're 130. We're going to come up? No. $110, 90. No. Okay. This one can go on the. This one's going to go back in the shelf until I can get some more information about just how much effort is worth putting into it. Tin cans as ring clamps for pistons. Oh, that's definitely getting homestead style. Do it yourself. It's jack of all trades, master of none. I suppose you could say that's a pro and a con. Okay, what have I got here? Let's see, what do I have here? Keyboard fault on one. 1502 the keyboard fault. 1706 with liquid damage. Yeah, let's go 1502. 1706 is going to require me to have a brain. Mind you, I suspect the 1502 is going to give me a beating as well. Keyboard faults when it's not the cable is no fun. Exactly, pound off. That's why it's like, I can just sit on the shelf, and if they've got their own data, and a lot of people these days do at least now have iCloud, if they've got it backed up, then it's just like, sorry. Especially with that liquid damage, it's been stewing in that for quite a while. Now, Lewis, far too many times I have wondered where a screw is or wondered what it belonged to. By sticking the sticker onto the box, it makes it easy for me to catch those scenarios where you've left out one screw or one small part or something like that. I had that the other day. There was a machine I sent back to someone, and then I was just going through the boxes and doing my end of week cleanup, as it were, and I noticed there was a bracket still in it. It was only a small bracket, but it was in there, and so I had to apologise to him and sent that bracket off to him. Okay, so we have no fan. Fantastic. iPhone 6 Wi-Fi overheating. You can grind out that if you want, and I think you just lose 5 gigahertz mode. But yeah, you can. There's a video I've done of me grinding out that fault. And you can do it with just alcohol method. You don't need to have an infrared camera or anything like that. The battery looks jacked as heck. I bet you that's... Is this battery being lifted? Can't decide if the battery's being lifted or not. Yeah, it's being lifted. I guess they were trying to find out what was going on here. Let's see. Okay, so we don't have a fan. That's not a major issue, but I do want to test things. this cable flex does have pitting in it, so I would have inherently blamed it by default. But apparently it's not the case, but we'll put the keyboard tester to work and see what's going on. It magically won't tell us anything. See if it even works for the option key. You haven't been able to find it even with IPA cold spray? That's kind of crazy. Does the Wi-Fi module actually get hot? You should feel it. And it's a classic fault that's coming up on the 6S's now. Hey, oh no. We're just pottering along, as it were. Oh, come on now, man. Boot. Well, is your keyboard that jacked up that you can't even boot? Oh, god damn. It's a bad keyboard. Fine. Be like that. Definitely the flex is dodgy. I mean, it's got, like I said, it's got the pitting marks on it, which is always a bad sign. Could be the trackpad too. So this is job 108. The device powers on and operates properly if the Wi-Fi is shut off immediately. I'd definitely say it's highly likely it's the Wi-Fi thing. Like I said, it's popping up everywhere lately. The video I did was about 3 months ago, I think. Oh, I'm an idiot. There is a fan here. Look, I've got a whole package of goodies that I was ignoring. Some screws. I really hate that you have to bend these flexes so damned aggressively. I find it offensive. Get that in the proper distance. I can't really put this in because in order to do that I either have to take the board out or I have to take the heatsink off. You can't slip that in. Mark Bianco, welcome back. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the 5. That will certainly always go towards kitty cats. Oh, and this is a 2015, by the way, if anyone's wondering. Gonna try the Chile eye bridge next time. Start making measurements. Oh, okay. I haven't tried one of those things. I've seen them, but I haven't tried one. Boom, 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 boom. Boris, if you're doing a first one, try to get something like a 1466 or a 2012 A1278. Yeah, 2013 onwards 1466 or 2012 A1278. Either of those should be reasonable options to try. Come on, give me my boot. I hate that my boot drive sometimes just takes forever to actually, for whatever reason, the holding down the option key takes a good minute or two before it actually gives me, no, and that's timed out on me. I'll try the other one. The other option key, that is. Yep. The main thing to watch on the 1466s is make sure you don't get a cracked screen. If you do, it's not really worth fixing at all. At least with the 1278s, if you have a cracked screen, they're not too expensive to replace. I think, and it's not too difficult in terms of they are just a glass plate in front of a normal LCD panel, whereas once you get to the 1466s onwards, the whole thing is the panel in a way. Definitely. Well, if you picked up the 2915s and things like that, still, if you convert them over to the internal GPU, you could have made a fair bit of money, I suppose. No, okay, that's okay. The last thing I'm going to try is I'll plug in my external keyboard and see if I get any activity off that. Of course, I never remember which key I'm supposed to be pressing on the external keyboard, but we'll try any of them. Alt key. Usually, Mark, I try one and then I try the other. It's the 50-50-90 rule. Come on. There we go. Press enter. Oh, that sure took its time. I'll be curious to see if the trackpad's functioning. If the trackpad's got some functionality or the keyboard has some functionality, it'll be interesting. Otherwise, I'll just take the board out. Maybe we actually legitimately have a controller failure issue somewhere. But I thought that, yeah, I don't know. Windows key is command key. Controller's common between them both. Okay. You know I'm going to forget that until next time. Because that's just the way it goes. Phone board should be available for most things. If you do have Flex Boardview, then most of the phone board, most of the devices you can find on phone board are also available in Flex Boardview. At least when it comes to iPhones. Like when you saw the iPhone 6 board view and schematic I had up before. So that was under Flex Boardview. So we do have iPhone support, it's just not as... Okay, trackpad works, keyboard not so. Absolutely nothing at all on the keyboard, alright, that's interesting. Does power on off work? Completely nutter. Oh no, power does work. Oh, that sucks. Bugger. Alright. Let's take this board out. Have a closer look. I do apologise that my vocabulary has been degenerating as of late. Actually, Pernov, I may be able to export the phone board files into a format that Open Boardview can handle. It'll lose all the... It'll be like MacBook boards. It'll lose all the outlines and stuff like that, but it will retain at least the pins and nets and positions and part names. So, you know, it'll be a win overall. I think we can do that. La 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 la. This is fault keyboard not working. At least the fault's showing up correctly on the screen today. Hello. We've got someone writing something in Arabic. Or whatever that script is. I plead ignorance. Penov, we'll do it, and you never know, maybe it'll create its own demand. But you're right, there hasn't been a huge amount of yelling out for it. But we'll do it, and you never know, people might come for it. I noticed that phone board actually has a lot of mistakes in its board files, in places that will actually make you destroy your phone. I don't know whether that's deliberate or not, but yeah. So I don't know where they got their data from, but it doesn't match up properly. God, I hate it when these... No fun when they all look pristine like this. I guess I should go back and check that trackpad. Maybe I can drop... Oh wait, no, what's this? What's that? It's probably not related, but I'm gonna stick my nose in it. This is a 49 board. 4924. Guess I better add that to the system. Is this job 108? And people are going, yes, you said that before, Paul. 8204924. Ooh, there was a reference on this too. What's your reference number, buddy? 7919. 7919. I'll get it to update. Thank you. I do love it that that's working. It's nice having those small adjustments, small features that just make it easier to get through the data every day. Okay, so what corrosion under this chip here? It's a speaker amplifier, it's not going to do much. Speaker amp, RN NMP. Nah, it's probably not really at fault. Can you shift that black banner text up a bit on the... Yeah, I don't know. I'll see what I can do about positioning it, but I've already moved it around so much. But anyway, okay, so that's speaker. We're going to tag it anyway. It is on probably the data lines, but I'm not sure if they share a common data bus. I doubt they would with the keyboard. So we do have low-level corrosion. I was advised this was a clean board, and we've since seen that it's not quite a clean board. It hasn't been ultrasonic that I'm aware of, in the sense of you got all this hair and junk still on it. By the way, if you're new to repairing MacBooks and you see this sort of thing, particularly on MacBook Airs, I'm sorry to say it is not the fault. Hey, Yossi Geek. Yeah, as Pernov and Flatland just said, if you're doing repairs casually, open Boardview's the right choice. But if you do go into it professionally and time matters, then it's a comparatively small cost. You buy Flex Boardview, and the two-way search interface between the schematic and the Boardview will save you enough time in any given day to. If you don't save that amount of money that you spent in your first day of using it, then I don't know what to say. Don't ask for a refund. How do you pronounce that name? YNZ Kai. Yin Kai. I'm sure I butchered that very badly. And now I'm probably going to get hate mail. Anyway, I'm just cruising around this board looking for some sort of telltale sign that will let me know why things have gone bad. Now, we could have a situation where this is just not repairable because the damage is in the CPU or something. I'm pretty sure it goes straight to the CPU for the keyboard interface, doesn't it? Let's have a look at that trackpad though. It kind of looks like the person already did. But we're going to have another look. The actual keyboard flex looks okay. Bit of fluff. Oh, Panov, we just tried a fresh cable and same thing. So that's why it's kind of a mystery, this one. I do not have my playing cards. Okay, no playing cards makes it a little bit harder to pop this battery out, because we don't want to actually damage the battery, even though it's kind of had a bit of a rough day already. Have you got a spare 1502 keyboard? I had that once. Turned out the keyboard was completely dead. Oh. Okay. No, it's okay, Benov. You handle so many other things. I'm certainly not being critical of you one bit. Okay, this top deck's been replaced. This is not an original top deck. Sorry, I say top deck, but I really mean keyboard deck, but you guys get what I'm talking about. I can tell because there's a sticker there from a company that replaces, supplies this stuff. So it makes me starting to wonder now if they did indeed put a dodgy keyboard in the deck. Although there's so much damage here, I'd be surprised if it was a new deck. I'm trying to fix Firewire on a Core 2 machine. Oh, okay. You do the most interesting of things, Pianov. Clearly I don't want to damage this pack, so that's why I'm trying to be careful. This is another Finko deck. Okay, this person uses Finko. Just put a piece of cardboard under there. I'm just trying to stop the battery adhesive re-establishing contact. Okay, there we go. That's not a pretty sight. Let's see if I have got another. I don't think I have another 1502 keyboard on hand. Still waiting. What's this? A 1502. Oh yeah, I do. Scared myself. Yeah. Okay. I know, some people are probably sitting there going, oh God, he's an idiot. He has to manually flip things around to work out what the orientation is. It's called being paranoid and checking things twice. A good way to prove the importance of that is to take a 1534 and install that split S flex in backwards and see what happens. And when you do that, you'll understand why it's good to check these things. I gotta say, I'm lucky enough I wasn't one that did it, but I saw the after effects of it. And it was dramatic enough that I was like, I don't think I'll be making that mistake too many times. 2 or 3 tops, but no more than that. Let's plug everything back in again. I gotta say, I am, of the 1502s, 1398s, I am happy at least that you can change that screen cable. That's always been a real concern point for me. I hate doing this with the keyboard, trying to hold it up like this. Oh, I know what's easier. I'll just do it over the edge to get it started, and then I'll bring it up. That. There's bound to be something conductive under there. And have you seen my earliest videos where I just had one camera and it was one of those, I think it was a Fujicam 7200 or something like that. And it would always run out after 19 minutes because that was the limit that the MPEG Society put on the video recording capabilities of cameras and things. And so quite a few times I'd be caught out just getting through a video and, oh crikey mate, come on. So I'm gonna have to, this is gonna be awkward, but I need to get myself a keyboard extender. Or some kind of projecting mirror. So I guess my point is that, yeah, I mean, we've got iPhones now, so yeah, recording decent videos is pretty trivial. Come on, man, how long are you gonna take to show me something? Ooh, oh, head rush. Run an elastic band between the cue and the keys so it holds on the palm rest. What? The what? The cue what? By the way, I love that. You probably can't see it. It's off screen, but they bent the frickin' heat pipe. Really, how much? How do these people do it? Bending the goddamn heat pipe every time. Oh wow, that was loud. Sorry about that. Now, Poundov, it is a pain initially when you don't have things set up for everyday use, as you know, for video work. Yeah, we've got it booting into something. It just took its sweet time. Along the rivet channel between the Q and the A. Is it there? Well, it won't be long and I'll be able to lift this up anyway. And the other fun thing when you're doing videos is, of course, getting used to the notion of talking in your videos. It's something I'm still not quite used to. Okay, let's see if anything types. Nothing. We got squat. Alright, so we know it's not the keyboard. And it's not the trackpad flex. It could be the trackpad. I do have a spare one. Interesting. So I'll put this keyboard back in. I'll get the trackpad. Maybe have some greater success here. Re-hot CPU. Buzz color, that's your standard go-to, I've noticed, every time you come in here. You like the 2915, don't you? This is precarious work, folks. Up and off everybody's desk is a mess. I mean, there's no denying that. We're all messy creatures. That's what's nice about having a sort of limited field of view on your cameras, is that you can focus just on that small bit of area that you haven't messed up yet, and pretend that your whole workshop's like that. Is there power going to the keyboard? Good question, Mark. I don't know. I haven't checked yet. Guess we're doing it. Okay, look, that must have worked. So I think we just got a bad trackpad. Let's see. Yep, we just got a bad trackpad. Because that keyboard is now functioning. Voila. I'm curious to see what the fault is on it. Dev bombs, yeah. I've sometimes spent entire weekends trying to clear out this mess in here. And you make some progress, but you're still, at the end of the day, these are T4s. You still feel like you're somewhat defeated. It's not the great glamorous workshop that you wish for. Like, I've seen some people's new workshops and they're absolutely to die for. They're beautiful, they're nice and spacious, they're clean, well laid out, tools in the right places, all that sort of stuff. Compartments for everything, spaces for everything. Some people are just inherently inclined to produce workspaces like that. And then crap. And then there are people like me who balance things precariously on top of other things in a great big mess around me until something falls over which requires immediate attention. That's pretty much my lifestyle. Putting out fires. Hopefully that will improve though. Like, once I get to the point where I can start building the new workshop, and I'm thinking about a 10 by 4 meter area or something around about that. And hopefully that will make life considerably better. Okay, where's my good one? Crikey, they've all got to come out. Alright. That's a lot of... It's interesting that they went from the floating 2 or 3 screw system for the trackpad to this 10 torque screw perimeter assembly system. We'll have to fix up that speaker that's got corrosion on it though, that chip that we saw. Can't leave that lying there. Okay, how do you come out? Just like that? I'm kind of curious what went wrong with this one. We'll pull it apart afterwards. Let's see, we'll mark it though. Actually, maybe I shouldn't mark it. I'll put a sticker on it. I was thinking if it was part of the top assembly, and if that top assembly is still technically under warranty, then me marking it would not be a good thing. So we'll just mark that 108 so I know. Okay, time to put all those screws back in. We haven't really done much in the way of board repair tonight yet. Oh, and I did find my rotary encoders for the mouse, so I'm gonna fix up the mouse before I do too much more. Because after I removed it and then put it back in, the flux and whatnot got into it, and now it's just crap. I switched over to a spare one I had, but obviously I prefer to keep them all running if possible, especially when it's only like a 30-cent part each time. Hey, Victor Ola, Electronics Lab from Fudan University, expat teaching high school, high tech. Cool. Nice to have you here. Hopefully something will actually be learnt. Great. My English teacher's now going to kill me. There's no click in that. Very slow process. Start trying to do up the rocker cover bolts on a big 6-cylinder. I'm just putting the one in just to hold it steady. This machine's a bit of a tragedy in itself. As I said. Come on. At this point we just want to ascertain that the keyboard is fully functioning, that we didn't have some kind of one-off fluke. Let's see how we go. Use the original trackpad, just confirm. Well, yeah, they supplied that trackpad cable. So first thing I'll do is make sure it works in this configuration, then I'll roll back to the old one. The old one does have pits in it, so yeah. Okay, DevPom, thanks for dropping in, as always. Always appreciated. Yeah, Winfield, I know. That's why it drives me mad, because they damage it, and then eventually the heat pipe gets a fatigue crack in it, lets out the coolant, and the machine doesn't work as well anymore. But I get that on a fairly regular basis, and I complain about it every time. So stop doing it. You got 105 students watching, even though it's 10:30. That's impressive. Are they all in the same auditorium? Oh yes, cardboard boxes definitely breed. I've got a whole bunch I need to send out. They've accumulated in my front office, which is where customers pick up and packages get delivered and all that. Because what happens is that I pull everything out of any incoming boxes in there, label it, mark it, and then bring it up into this workshop. But I leave the boxes down there. And every week I'm supposed to go down to the dump, but it seems to turn into like an every month thing. Okay, so let's run the keyboard tester and see how we go. This is going to run a little bit slow because of the lack of fan. It seems to be going alright already anyway. This is a 1502. Someone didn't select the compact option, but that's okay. So here we go. Good. Keyboard works just fine. 105 students in the same lab. So you have to run the labs 24/7. Whereabouts in China are you? I've been trying to learn my Chinese. I'm terrible at it. It hasn't helped that lately I haven't even been able to put the 5 or 15 minutes a day into what I would normally do just to keep myself fresh with what limited amount that I did know. But I try to go to various websites that are written in Chinese and try to just pick out things that I can. It's a difficult language to learn in terms of just memorizing all the logographs. Okay, so that's good. Let's try it with the other trackpad. I mean, not the other trackpad, the other cable. Well, the trackpad's obviously been working because I've been using it. Hopefully we can continue to use the old cable, because the old cable is already bent appropriately. So at least if something goes wrong, I can't be blamed for that. I hate putting these Z-bends into the cables. I think I get about a 50% success rate with those, in terms of not damaging it. Come on. Oh. Force that a bit hard. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't bend the heatsink up. I'll break your fingers. I'll bend your fingers up like you do on the heatsink. You'll understand why you shouldn't do it. And what do you save? 30 seconds? we'll actually know very quickly if this cable is still okay because, well, for one, the boot selection will come up and I'll be able to select it because that was not working before. But we will do the full test anyway, because if maybe one of the data lines has been damaged, we may only get a partial report on the keyboard. Does this... I never remember whether this keyboard transfers all the individual lines or not. And it does. Okay, so all the individual matrix lines come straight out of this keyboard into the PC, into the motherboard, whereas you get other ones and it's only just the already decoded or interpreted version. Yeah, Mark, sometimes it's required. Sometimes it's required. Getting tired here. Getting tired, I only have another $10,000 to make. Then I can retire for a week before the next load of things start. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, while that's booting up, I'll show you what I mean by the... Okay. So you see here on the keyboard connector, all of these KBD, keyboard 1 through to 23, they're all the individual lines, the traces that make up the matrix scanning, the keyboard scan. So if you break one of those, then you may lose a row or a column of keys. So that's what we're going to test. We'll have a look at the old trackpad just now. First I want to do this test, and then we'll have a look at the trackpad. Two oscilloscopes went to wreck at once. Oh, what sort of oscilloscopes? Guess you won't be able to tell me. Are they the old tube ones, or as in the tube display, or LCD? Don't retire, there's never enough time to do anything. Well, I guess I'm sort of saying I'm retiring to do the things I want to do. Not to sit around and do nothing. Paul's code needs improvement there. Hey, what's going on? That was just downright weird. Well, this'll work. Yeah, there's a lot of missing items here, but they're actually, it's quite correct. They're items that we don't have on this keyboard. And that's why I have optional maps, which I'm kind of confused why it didn't work. Assets, maps, A1502. Okay, it's weird. Don't know what happened before. I'll have to report that bug to the software developer, which unfortunately is me. Cap lock. Yep. Escape. Okay, so they're all working fine on this as well, so we don't have any damaged traces. So Q. Now we can have a look at that trackpad. Oh, LCD ones. What are they, Rygols or Siglent? I would imagine over there you'd have predominantly Siglent or Rygol or something like that, rather than Keithley or similar brands. Especially for students. Unless someone got a nice kickback from the purchasing department to buy the really expensive ones. Not that suggest anything inappropriate. The cap locks is not sticky, it's just that under macOS it doesn't. The cap locks is managed by the keyboard controller itself. It's not actually. How to explain it? When you press it, it toggles. It doesn't actually come back and say it's, the switch is lifted up. It just toggles each time. So only on the down press. So you have to report 2 down presses to produce the same effect. So yeah, it gets a little bit confusing, whereas on PCs, of course, it does not do that. PCs, the upstroke is also detected. Okay, so what have we got? We've got adhesive under here. So we're gonna need a bit of warming up or something. Yeah, there's rocks and crap under here, so warranty be damned, it's not going to be covered. Anyway, so that's why when I did that test, it will show up that the cap locks is running sluggish. Two Rigol DS1202s. Let's find out what happened. Good luck with it. Thank you very much for dropping in. I appreciate that. And hopefully I'll see you in the future. And hopefully my Chinese will be better then. I am learning Mandarin as well as Pinyin. So many things to learn. You kind of have to learn 2 languages when you're learning Chinese. You learn the spoken version, be it Mandarin and Cantonese. And then you gotta learn the written version. Oh, none of those seem problematic. Hey Jay Cozzy, what did we do for you tonight? Oh, we've still... Oh yeah, the battery. The battery on that A1398. Have you replaced that or anything? Because it's not really healthy. This is just 250. I'm not reflowing this thing. Just warming it up to try and get that adhesive to let go. You all feeling giddy? Ah, no. Was that Sai Shay? Anyway, I know that's goodbye. And I know Ni Hao. Ah. It's funny, I can't actually recall much Chinese off the top of my head, but when I do see it, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. Not enough though. So I'm just going to do this off camera, sorry. Trying to remember how to pronounce that last character. Shen? I think it is. Sai Shen? Ah. I really have fallen far. Okay, there's nothing on the bottom side of these boards. Much. What have you got here? Chen? Hey Margarita, see you still here. No, there's nothing obvious on this. There's genuinely nothing obvious as to why it's not working. No great big blob of... Ooh, wait, no, wait. Why are you green? Okay, that's why. That's very interesting corrosion though. Flatlander, you're right, I am very, very tired. Okay, so there's corrosion on there, but that doesn't look like it penetrated. Oh yeah, it did. Okay. Remember that SMC we had about 3 weeks ago? And the board looked basically clear, except we had this tiny little speck of green corrosion off the side of it. Well, it's the same sort of thing here. You can see, you could just see those bonding wire, well they're not bonding wires, but kind of, you can just see them there. Anyway, the corrosion has gotten in amongst there, and that's probably what's killed it, because that was nice fruity green kryptonite. I think the key with things like Chinese, Japanese, or all languages really, is to utilize them every day. If you don't utilize it every day, it will fade out of your memory very quickly. Particularly the older you get. So, yeah. Dud chip. So, trackpad down. At least we know why. The only thing we've got to do is fix up that speaker chip. But I think it would probably be ill-advised of me to do that tonight. I think it'd be the best thing for me to do right now is to knock off, get some sleep, or try to get some sleep, and come back tomorrow, chase a new job. But at least we know why it failed. Yeah, there was actual evidence there. It wasn't much in it, but it was, yeah, it's in the right place. Okay, the end. Stick this all together and put it back on its slot. Yeah, it's quite a mess. Ah, geez, I've got the... Yuck. Looks like someone's just put some two-sided tester tape or something on the bottom of that battery pack to get it to stick again. It doesn't work. If you take the battery packs out, you should probably use the two-sided foam again. Alright, I just need to record what I've done tonight on my log system. Okay, add note. Trackpad faulty. Main board has by the speaker amp up chip. And that 1534, I should have put this down before I went on to the next job, but anyway. 1534 severe soaked corrosion along bottom edge of board. Getting to 20 volts, but only 80 to 110 milliamp. Check if data is required. If not, no fix. Okay, that's good. Have you charged the flare? Yes, that's all done and charged. I did that earlier today, but thank you very much, Tony. Let's see. Just got on and looked at the beginning of the stream. Can send a battery Monday. Well, look, I've got to get some replacements myself anyway. So what I'll do is I'll get mine up. I'll test it with one of mine, and then if it is clear that the battery is at fault, if we just need to replace the battery, then you can just do that when it gets down to your end. The other problem is, of course, the keyboard's faulty as well. So you got the situation where you have to decide, if this is a customer machine. I'm not trying to tell you how to do business here, by the way. I'm just sort of imagining you're going to have to decide, is this going to be worth it? Because they're going to probably need a new keyboard, new battery, the board repair. Let me know if you want me to just drop this or what. So anyway, you can email me or message me. Okay, well, I think that's everything. Yeah, time for me to put this fuzzy head into a pillow and try and get some sleep, but the chances are the little fur kid rat bags are going to wake me up at about 4:30, which is 3.5 hours away. 3.5 hours, that's a tolerable half amount of sleep. Don't forget to do your mouse. Oh yeah. Maybe I can just do that quickly since I walked down to the workshop. The mouse is a dead easy job. There we go. At least we get some satisfaction for tonight. Oh man, who's the bastard that actually soldered that in properly? God damn him. I have to get the old vice out. Oops, no one can see. How do you stop the cat pulling the MagSafe charges off your Mac? Fortunately, I don't have that problem with my cats. Fortunately. I know some people have that sort of issue. We have different issues with ours, but that's not one of them. For this, of course, we changed to industry standard chisel tip. Better put some suction. advantage of these parts is that they're so big compared to everything else that you really go through your wick very quickly. It's like you can desolder an entire SMC and barely use a quarter of that. Good to see the fume extractor doing its job. And now I'll press. There we go. That was out. The moose, the moose has a bad rotary encoder. That's all. There we go. New one in. This is almost like a Formula One pit stop. Okay, we're done. Give it a little bit of a clean up. Try not mess the optical element up too much. Clean off any trash. Cat hair. Goddamn cat hair. Oh, did that wrong. Or did I? No, I didn't. I was right the first time. Oh yeah. That's going to be real annoying. Anyone that's in the room with me when I'm scrolling like a madman, that's going to drive me mad. Unfortunately, I'm usually the one in the room with myself, so I'm probably going to go mad-ish. Okay, let's put a couple of double A's in there and see if it behaves. M220s actually. Let's see, what can we sacrifice? I actually have one port left. In it goes. Okay. Nothing? That one's fine. I think I've overloaded my... Ah, bravo. I've overloaded my flippin' mouse, my USB ports. Let's see if I can... Alright, we're back. I2C, failure writing data. Yeah, I've done something to genuinely upset the whole system. Didn't like it, which means this is going to be fun because I actually don't have keyboard control now. Oh, I mean mouse control. That's okay. Okay, that's up. That's up. I got 3 mice. 3 blind mice. There's no on-off ports on these, switch on these. Looks like I've broken the I2C system. Stop that. Someone needs to... Window manager warning, overriding existing binding of keysim 37, that's something else. Going to hell. Aha! We got a mouse back. Okay, which one's that? Okay, this is the one we just fixed. It is up and running. We can prove that, of course. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Working just dandy fine. Yep, that's good. We're all fixed. Okay. Alright then, well... there we go. Click on that. Yep, definitely time to go to bed now. I had your last little hurrah. My little, what do they call it when you get called back onto stage after your performance? Your encore, is it? I can't remember. So we had that, and now it is time for me to crash. So, I'm out of here. You'll take care. I may see you tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see what we can fix. I've got a couple other little personal projects I've got to do with the touch sensors and whatnot. We may try that as well. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.